You know, when I called the Trump administration a cabinet of clowns, I wasn't lying. And I will never feel bad for calling them that because I have never in my lifetime seen a group of people who falls apart faster in front of a live microphone when taking questions. They just literally crumble, and it is so hard to watch. I mean, we could talk about Pete Hegseth all day and what a train wreck he is, and of course, there's RFK Jr., who is always off the rails, but you expect RFK Jr. to go off the rails. The one, though, that is the most cringeworthy to watch for me is Kristi Noem. Whenever she has to take questions, she is so lost, she's so confused, looks so puzzled. There's no way that there isn't someone in the Trump administration, maybe one of his kids, just leaning in and going, yeah, Dad, Kristi looks lost. I mean, there's no way you could sit there and watch that and think that it's good. Now, with RFK Jr., I'm going to make a wrestling analogy. Back in the 90s, you had the brand ECW. They were the extreme brand. They'd come out there and they'd light a table on fire and dive off the balcony. And you had guys like the Sandman come out and he'd crush a beer on his head and he'd wave a kendo stick around. Then he would throw his opponent through a big barbed wire, flaming table. You expected that from guys like that. Rest easy, Sabu. You would expect that from them. So that's RFK Jr. You expect him to come out, crush a beer can on his head, leave a bear cub in Central Park and go swimming in shit. You expect him to do something like that. But Kristi Noem at least looks the part at least. I mean, you think you might get some sort of answer out of her, but you're never going to. And man, is she cringe to watch in these next couple of clips. But I'm showing them because I want people to understand just how unqualified these people are. And to the ones that voted for this thinking, they won't let him do that. Well, these are the people that are letting him do that. Take a look.
Commit to just letting his mother know, as a mother to mother, if Andrew is alive. He was given an asylum appointment by the United States government. We gave him an appointment. We said, Andrew, come to the border at this time to claim asylum. He was taken to a foreign prison in El Salvador. His mother just wants to know if he is alive. Can we check and do a wellness check on him?
Our asylum applications are different than the granting of asylum, and I don't know the specifics of this individual case. This individual is in El Salvador, and the appeal would be best made to the president and to the government of El Salvador on this.
This
is
made that
not under my jurisdiction.
Madam Secretary, you have said that CCOT in El Salvador is one of the tools in the toolbox that you have. You have said that and has been quoted as saying that. You and the president have the ability to check if Andrew is alive and if not being harmed. Would you commit at least into looking and asking El Salvador if he is alive?
This is a question that's best asked to the president and the government of El Salvador.
Absolutely. And I think you know very well that you could ask that question. What you are choosing to do, Madam Secretary, is disregard this young man's life, this young man's family, who was given an appointment by the United States. I think it is shameful that you won't even request to see if this young man is alive. His family has no idea, has no access to lawyers. I would hope that we would have the humanity to just check if this young man is okay. With that, I yield back. It's shameful.
I would really hope that we would have some humanity too, but we're never going to get it from the Trump administration because that's not what they're there for. They're there to be loyal to Donald Trump. They're not there to answer questions. She is always going to stagger, duck, and dodge and deny any and all accountability. And like I said before, they just come right out and tell you that, well, I don't know anything about that. I talked about it at length before, but now that you're asking me about it, I don't know about it. I'll have to ask someone else. I have never seen a more unqualified group of people in my life, but in this next clip, Eric Swallwell just absolutely drops the hammer, and it is great to watch. Take a look.
That this is doctored, is that right?
The same protocols that are
Madam
applied
Secretary,
to every
I want you to have
individual with
credibility,
law
and
enforcement.
I want you to be taken seriously. Is this doctored or is it not
Sir,
doctored?
I am taken quite seriously
Is it
because
doctored
I
or not
with
doctored?
the importance that the president has given me to do
I understand.
my job.
Is it doctored or not
One thing
doctored?
that's important to remember is that every single time a case is built,
Madam
against
Secretary, I have a
individuals,
7-year-old,
the
a
same
6-year-old, and a
protocols.
3-year-old. I have a bullshit detector. I'm just asking you, is this doctored or not doctored?
Sir, the protocols in the case built against
Can you
Eduardo
answer the
Garcia
question?
were exactly the same.
Madam Secretary,
I don't have
you're-
any knowledge as to that photo you're pointing to.
Okay, can you
I
take
don't,
her,
sir.
can you show her the photo? Walk her the photo down there. No, that one. Please take a look at this photo. It was tweeted by the president on April 21. It's been hanging out there for about a month.
So what is your point?
She actually said, so what is your point? Well, the point is, Donald Trump sat there and said, he has MS-13 on his knuckles. No. He has MS-13. It's not photoshopped. Why can't you just say it's real? That's what Donald Trump sat there and said. She knows that is a Photoshop. She understands that it is. But she's in a position where that if she says, yeah, that's doctored, That's absolutely doctored. Then she makes her leader look like a moron, which he already does. But then she knows if she goes back behind the curtain, she's going to get raked over the coals for ever saying, yeah, that was doctored. And again, there's people that have made the argument that the symbols on his knuckles, you know, stood for MS 1 and 3. There's people that have made that argument. I've never heard anyone make a good one, really. But whoever put that on that piece of paper did that to demonstrate that this means M, this means S, this means 1, and this means 3. That's what that was meant to be. That's not a real tattoo. Folks, I've got plenty of tattoos, okay? I know what they look like. I know what old tattoos look like. I know what new tattoos look like. And I know what basic font on a computer looks like. And I really wish that when Trump was sitting there under that microscope that he'd have had Eric Swallwell there saying, well, wait, I've got a bullshit detector, and let's let you take a look at this picture and see for yourself that it's indeed doctored. And for Trump to say to us, why can't you just say that it's real? Why can't you just tell the truth? Why can't you just come one time in your life with the truth? You know why? Because if he ever told the truth, he doesn't have an audience. If he ever actually had to stand up there and know what he was talking about and be truthful with the audience and admit to mistakes, he would not have a base. The only way Donald Trump has a base is to keep them full of stupidity, just saying whatever he mouths out for them to say, just repeat after me. That's why he said, why can't you just say it? Because that's what he's used to his base doing. But these people are in these important positions. Americans' lives are in their hands. And to all the people out there that said, well, that ain't what I voted for, yes, Kristi Noem is exactly what you voted for. You may not have realized he was going to put her in that role. May not have realized he was going to put RFK Jr. there. But what you should have been doing, and you was at the rally, not me, but what you should have been doing is standing there going, hey, he's bringing all these people up here, and the one thing they all have in common is they're all loyal 110% to him. So I kind of assume that that's who he's going to pick to work along beside him, because the first time he got in there and picked people that had worked in government, they said, this is chaos. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's a train wreck behind the scenes. And I say this almost in every other video now, but in any other era in American history, that would disqualify you. I can't think of a president before Donald Trump where people said he didn't know what he was doing. We had to tell him what he could and couldn't do. He was a complete lost ball in high weeds. It was total chaos. Now, somewhere in history, there may have been. I'm sure George W. Bush was just sitting over there, eating Cheetos while Dick Cheney was writing everything down. But still, it's like, I don't think we've ever had a president on this level before. And now he's surrounded himself by people who are beneath him and looking up to him for guidance. And I've never seen anything like it when he's out there now more than ever. He says, yeah, first time I'm hearing about that. Well, you'll have to ask my lawyer. Well, you're going to listen to the Supreme Court? I don't know if I should have to. You'll have to ask my lawyer about that one. This ain't normal. Okay, stop normalizing this. And to the mainstream media, stop normalizing this and looking around. It's like, I get so frustrated, and that's why that I spend my time watching Midas Touch. I spend my time watching creators, independent journalists. I watch people like that. I listen to that. I do look to see how everyone is reporting things. What I do when it comes to mainstream media, I'll tell you what I do. I look at the headlines and I compare the headlines. And so in this case of Kristi Noem, a Fox News headline would be something like, Eric Swallwell disrespects Kristi Noem. Whereas CNN might be like, Kristi Noem takes some tough questions. No, she didn't. Stop wording it that way. Say out to the American people, she didn't know what she was doing. She was a lost ball in high weeds, because you're insulting someone's intelligence. If you're going to sit there and say, oh, she took some tough questions, or she was under fire. No, she did not know what she was doing. She's admitting she doesn't know what she's doing. RFK Jr. is saying, don't take your advice from me. They're saying the quiet parts out loud, and people sitting back watching this deserves to have someone that will stand up and say, hey, that don't look right. That's not normal. That ain't how American politics is supposed to work. And that's what we'll always do here on the channel. I'm not going to sit here and insult your intelligence by telling you that, boy, Kristi Noem took some tough questions. No. She got asked some basic questions and could not formulate a sentence to answer because she was too busy just reading the pre-programmed statement she was told to make. And to all the ones that said, well, that ain't what I voted for, yeah, it is. And my advice would be to pay more attention. And when someone tells you that they're going to do something, pay attention, listen, because it's, I mean, he told us, he even said it in one of the clips where there's like, well, your voters are saying this ain't what they voted for. He goes, oh, it is. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, if they'd have been listening, you know, I didn't think he was going to abolish the Department of Education. Well, then we listened to him more than you did, and that's sad. It's sad that the people that voted against him listened to him harder than the ones that went out and blindly voted for him, and now we're in this mess. But we're going to keep putting in the work. We're going to keep standing up to this authoritarian bullshit, and we're going to keep doing the best that we can. And I really appreciate y'all for supporting me here on the channel and hitting that subscribe button. It doesn't cost anything to do so, and I appreciate y'all so much for hanging with me. And it doesn't cost anything to hit the subscribe button, but if you ever want to throw a few bucks my way and try on the Patreon for size, what I've been doing over there is just going over there and talking about things other than politics to decompress and take a break from all the madness. So if you ever want to join me over there, the link is in the description of this video. And yeah, it's so crazy. Every time I sit down in this chair to do this, I say to myself, I never thought we would be here. I never thought this is what I would be doing at 45 years old. I know I look older, but I never thought this is what I would be doing. I thought life would be a lot simpler, but we got dealt this hand, and the only thing we can do now is figure out how to play it.